In today's digital age, platform businesses have revolutionized industries and even transformed the way we interact and transact. Now, from hailing a ride with Uber to booking a stay on Airbnb, platforms have become an integral part of our lives. But what exactly are platform businesses and how do they create value differently from traditional companies? In this episode, we're going to deep dive into the world of platform businesses and explore strategies behind the kind of explosive growth that they see, the challenges they face, and the future trends that will shape this dynamic industry. Now, whether you're an entrepreneur looking to build the next big platform or simply curious about the inner workings of these digital powerhouses, this episode's for you. So buckle up and get ready to discover the secrets of the platform revolution. Now, welcome to Business Model Hackers. This is the podcast where each week we're going to examine real-world applications of concepts and frameworks. Sam Schreim is here with us, and he was a former top-tier management consultant who traded the security of that career for the dynamic world of entrepreneurship. And this podcast is part of that journey. You should know that Sam brings with him a wealth of experience, having advised everyone from Fortune 500 executives to ambitious startups, and even extended that expertise to governments and nonprofits and strategic and management roles. So let's get into it. Okay, Sam, I want to talk about the power of platforms and leveraging network effects for growth. Can you explain the concept of a platform business and how that differs from traditional business models?
Sure. Platform businesses are kind of unique business models that have emerged in the late 1990s. So they're kind of unlike linear businesses that create value through sequential process. Platform create value by facilitating interactions and exchanges between different groups of users. Some well-known examples stated, right, are Airbnb, Uber, eBay, and an Amazon marketplace. These platforms connect buyers with sellers or service providers. The key or distinct features of platforms is that they don't own the production, right? They rather provide the infrastructure and oversight and governance for buyers and sellers to interact and transact.
I see. Now, what is known as network effects, and why are they crucial for the growth of platform businesses? Are there any examples you can give us of companies that have successfully leveraged quote unquote network effects?
I mean, the most important concept for understanding the power of platforms is understanding the network effect. Network effects create a virtuous cycle that helps platform rapidly scale. So it occurs when the value of a product or service increases as people use it and more sellers join the platform, right? Or more providers sell on the platform. So the classic example is, let's say, telephone, right? The more people who own telephones, the more valuable the telephone network becomes to each user. So the more users that join on one side, the more valuable the platform becomes on the other side. So that kind of creates this feedback loop. There are two main types of network effects. The first one is the direct network effects. This happens when the network value increases for each user. So the more users join, typically successful companies, examples are the social networks, right? Like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X. These are where platform becomes more valuable to each user as their friends and family join, or as more people join and create or post content on the platform and more people view the content and engage with other users. The second is the indirect network effect. The value of that network increases for one set of users as more users of a different type join. For example, like Airbnb becomes more valuable for travelers as more hosts join and vice versa. Right? The other examples like Alibaba, Amazon, Uber. It's important to note that network effects also make successful platforms highly defensible, as they are difficult for competitors to displace once they achieve critical mass.
So then let's talk about strategies. What strategies do successful platforms use to attract their first users and overcome that whole chicken and egg problem? And how do platforms ensure a balanced ecosystem between different types of users? For example, buyers and sellers in a marketplace?
Well, the most difficult problem to crack in a new platform is the chicken and egg problem, right? When starting out. So platforms need to attract users on both sides, but the value for each side only exists if there are enough users on the other side, right? So to be a successful platform, you often focus on a specific niche or geography at first, where you can provide enough values to bootstrap your network effect. For example, Facebook started with college students at Harvard. Airbnb started with serving attendees of a design conference in San Francisco. Uber started with luxury black cars in San Francisco. So this allowed them to build the density on both sides in a focused market. right? Now, I once advised a startup in the ride-on-demand space that was entering new market. The challenge in starting up is the ability to attract riders and drivers at the same time. So riders had no incentive to join if there were no drivers, and vice versa. So to make this happen, we ended up renting cars and got drivers on payroll until there were enough riders to incentivize new drivers to sign up, and so on. So the same is with the e-commerce market. You'll need to carry your own inventory at the beginning to get enough buyers or users on the platform before you can ask merchants to list their products. Think about it this way: as platform scale, they need to maintain a balance and quality in their ecosystem. Having the right ratio of producers, consumers is critical. Too many producers and not enough consumers lead to a lack of a business, and frustrated producers, not enough producers, and too much demand leads to poor consumer experience and unmet needs. So platform use a variety of pricing, curation, incentive strategies to keep both sides engaged. Data and algorithm also play a key role in scaling platforms by efficiently matching the right users and matching personalized recommendations. So as platforms scale, they're able to leverage their data to continuously optimize and provide more value. Algorithm used to be another barrier to entry for new competitors. However, with the wide and low cost availability and access to AI, this barrier is gradually coming down.
Now, what would you say are some of the challenges that are commonly faced by platforms as they begin to scale, and how have leading platforms addressed those challenges?
Yeah, as platforms scale, they're definite to face challenges around quality control, trust, safety, spam, fraud, bad actor behavior. So to address this, you'll need to have a strong content and user moderation in place. So this would serve to increase trust and safety. In addition, user and product service review systems are essential to make this work. So you can recall problems that Uber faced when riders got raped and killed by drivers, or when Airbnb became the platform to go to for college kids to make parties and vandalize properties. So both Airbnb and Uber now use ID verification, two-way review systems, insurance to establish trust and safety. Marketplaces like eBay and Etsy provide dispute resolution and services for money-back guarantees. So there's also the issue of content moderation, and privacy is a big one, right? Things like who owns the content, who has the right to accept or reject users or content from users, with a trade-off between free speech and moderation or censorship exceedingly being open for philosophical debates. Then you have the collection of user data. Network companies are more under increasing scrutiny by governments who are calling for increased regulation on how content is stored or handled. And the list goes on.
Now, how do you see the role of AI and machine learning evolving in the context of platform businesses specifically?
Artificial intelligence and machine learning are becoming increasingly essential to platforms' ability to process vast amount of data, match users, screen content, personalize recommendations, and improve trust and safety at scale. AI will likely enable the emergence of new type of platforms in industries not traditionally thought of conducive to platform models. But also for platforms like Amazon, Kindle, or Medium, and YouTube, AI-generated content like music writing, video, photos, etc. are becoming an increasing hot issue and dilemma for these platforms.
Now, what about emerging trends? Do you believe that they will shape the future of platform businesses in the next decade?
Yeah, I mean, the development of Web3 technologies like blockchain and tokens may lead to the emergence of new decentralized platforms and marketplaces with distributed ownership and governance among participants. But the main issue with such technologies remains trust. If the moderation hurdle and scam or Ponzi schemes are addressed in such platforms, this could potentially realign platform incentives and redistribute value more equitably. We will also likely see increasing regulations and public scrutiny of the largest platforms as society grapples with their outsized power and influence. So how platforms approach privacy, content moderation, and their impact on local communities would likely be issues to navigate.
For entrepreneurs that are looking to start a platform business, what advice would you offer about the initial stages of their development?
Well, for aspiring platform entrepreneurs, it's critical to start by deeply understanding the unmet needs and pain points of their target users. What type of interactions and value exchanges are they craving that aren't being adequately served by existing solutions? What are their current alternatives and behaviors that entrepreneurs can tap into? So they need to focus on specific niche where you can provide the most value and build up critical mass. When we advise platforms, we spend a lot of time talking to and observing early users to understand their needs, behaviors, and feedback. So the idea is to be prepared to rapidly iterate platforms based on what is learned, and you need to optimize for building up your liquidity and network effects within your initial market. So think carefully about how you'll create trust and safety and governance structures that you need to scale. So consider structuring a portion of your user incentives and value capture in a distributed way to create stronger alignment. Most importantly, stay laser focused on continuously providing increasing value to your user. If you can do that, you'll have a chance of building a stable platform that stands the test of time in an increasingly competitive landscape. The power of network effects is immense, but with that power comes the responsibility to create real value in people's lives and for society.
Okay, let's go through the closing thoughts and takeaways of today's episode. As we've seen throughout this episode, platform businesses have the power to transform industries and create immense value by leveraging network effects, from understanding the strategies platforms use to build and scale to navigating the challenges they face in maintaining quality and trust. We've covered a lot of ground in this episode. We even explored the exciting future trends, such as the growing role of AI and the potential for decentralized platforms. This is going to shape the industry without a doubt in the coming years. For aspiring platform entrepreneurs, the key takeaways are to start deeply in terms of understanding your target users, their needs, focus on building critical mass in a specific niche, and continuously iterate based on what? User feedback. So stay laser focused, continue to provide increasing value, and create aligned incentives. Platforms have the potential to build scalable and defensible businesses that will stand the test of time. You don't have to look that far to see them around us even now. So as we wrap up this episode, I hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for the power and complexity of platform businesses and feel inspired to apply these insights to your own entrepreneurial journey, or simply view the digital giants through a new lens. Until next time, I hope that you keep exploring the fascinating world of platforms. And I believe that's going to wrap up our discussion for today. Thank you for tuning in to Business Model Hackers. And for more updates and insights, please be sure to visit businessmodelhackers.com. Ensure that you subscribe to our newsletter, where we provide in-depth and exclusive resources. And please follow our social media channels. See you next time.